this is our ultimate Olympic diva.
Oh.
I think to say that every single person in this room is proud of what you've done is the understatement of the year.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, unless you've been living under a rock, Tatjana has won not just medals at this Olympics, but at the previous Olympics as well. I mean, it is such an absolutely epic achievement. And thank you for making time to come and chat to us.
No, thanks for having me.
So, okay, we're going to do like a little quick fire question.
No
Okay,
pressure.
cats or dogs?
I would say dogs, but can I just tell the story?
Yes, yes, we like stories.
No, I was bitten by a dog, so I have a bit of a fear for dogs. I think anyone would find it strange that my answer is dogs. But I'm giving it a chance, and I hope one day I can have a dog that I don't have fear towards it. So I'm choosing dogs.
Okay, good choice. Rooibos tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Braai or restaurant?
Braai.
Cape Town or Durban?
Oh, Cape Town.
Sorry, Durbanites.
Yeah.
Beach day in Camps Bay or a hike up Table Mountain?
Yeah, that's hard. Let's go beach.
Okay, beach, yeah. Just don't know about swimming, yeah? No one would want to do that.
No, sorry, if we're in the ocean, every man for himself.
No. Okay, so Tatjana, over the years, you've become a household name in South Africa. And most of us watch the Olympics in Tokyo and in Paris. And hopefully you all follow her now on Instagram as well. Not sure how TikTok goes. I'm not there. I'm too old.
Also not there yet.
Too old. But can you take us back to where it all started? Where did you grow up and how did you start swimming?
Okay, so I grew up in Johannesburg in a place called Roodepoort.
I know Roodepoort. I grew up in Northcliff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's very close. I started swimming at the age of 5. It was mostly just for water safety, just if there was a pool in the area that I know how to survive. But yeah, and then from there, I started competing at the age of 8. I went into stroke correction, and I think they saw something in me. And yeah, it kind of just grew from there. I still did other sports during primary school with swimming on the side. Unfortunately, swimming is an all-year-round sport. So I did the general athletics, netball, and hockey in their different seasons, but swimming was always there in the background. So at that time, I was only swimming 3 times a week. And then when I went to high school, the school sport kind of faded away. Unfortunately, we just lived too far from the house for me to do other sports, so swimming took preference again. And then in grade 9, I moved to the Tuck Sports School because, I was still training at that time. I was training 3 times a week, but my parents just couldn't get me to more training sessions because they worked an 8 to 5 job, so it was very challenging. So they decided to send me there, and yeah, I've been in Pretoria for the past 12 years now.
It's not a bad place. As being a previous Joburger and then relocating to Pretoria, my first year I hated it. I was like, what is this place? But it's a nice place.
No, it is really nice beautiful. People. No, exactly. I think what the difference is, I mean, my heart somehow is still with Cape Town. I don't know why I love Cape Town. But Pretoria is just a very family suburb, and so it's nice to be there as a young student because you're always surrounded by family and stuff. But I think when you're done with studies, you want to go out and you want to grow. So It is a beautiful place, and it's still kind of my home.
Did you go into hostel?
Yes, so that was a tough decision. At 14, we were a very close family, so at 14, I had to move to Pretoria. So obviously, it's only a 45-minute drive, but because training was so intense, I only got to come home for 24 hours, basically. So I was in hostel from, my whole high school. It was challenging, and I think especially in the beginning because I didn't want to do swimming. So the first year was really tough. Rocco said there were a few times I wanted to pack my bags. Funny story is he even eventually called my dad and said, no, she's really not enjoying it, yeah? And he just said, I pay, she stay.
Yeah.
So,
So, thanks, Dad.
yeah, it is, thank you. I mean, at a 14-year-old, what do I really know? Like, I think I know everything. We all know how at 14-year-olds are. We think we know everything. And I really enjoyed netball at that time. So it was really hard to see what my parents and what Coach Rocco saw in me. They saw something and talent, and they really wanted me to see where it could potentially go. And I mean, if they saw that with maybe 3 sessions a week, I had to give it a chance, and I think I had to make that decision by myself, because at the end of the day, yes, my parents gave me that little bit of a push, but they can't do the training, they can't do the commitment, so I had to make that decision within myself, like, let's just give this a shot and see where it goes.
So let's be honest, like that kind of training is not for anyone or for everyone. It's hard. It's hours and hours and hours. It breaks your body. So at what stage did it click in your head that it's actually okay and that there's some form of joy? I don't know if you ever experienced joy while training or if it was all just like, ugh. When did that happen?
So obviously when I went from 3 times a week to about 10 to 11 sessions a week, my times did eventually start getting faster. And as a youngster, I mean, anything you're good at, you love. So if you're good at maths, you're like, I love maths.
It's true.
So ended up being good at swimming, and I was like, I actually really love this. I'm also a very competitive person at nature, so that made it also easy. So I really gave it a shot. I made my first South African team, and anyone you can ask, any athlete that makes that team, is just like it's like a little tick that bites, and you just want to make it again and be part of the team again. Especially as individual sports, we don't get we get to experience team as in training and stuff, but we never get to experience going out wearing the kits and standing and representing as a team. And so that was I think that's where it was. But I think the moments then, when I was younger, I found joy in my achievements. But when you grow up, you realize that the achievements aren't always going to be there. And do I still love what I do? And that was a process that I had to grow in. And I had to change my mind from not achievements, but more purpose. Like, what is my purpose in swimming? And if you know what your purpose is, then you can enjoy it much more, because it doesn't matter what you achieve. If you never achieve the ultimate in sport, that you will still be content and happy with why you're doing it. And for me, the purpose was always to go out there, give my best, glorify God in it, and show what we can do. And you don't have to come back with a medal to be great. I think giving your best and going out there is already amazing.
It's amazing. So, okay, so you made it through high school.
Yeah.
And just,
yeah, literally.
And I mean, I remember back in the day, a lot of swimmers used to go to the States on scholarships to go and swim, and then came back and competed. I know Rake and Roland, both prime examples of this. Were you ever approached?
I was, and I love this question, because I never in my heart wanted to go over. I've always felt like I wanted to prove that we can in South Africa. We had no proof that it could happen, but I just always felt like we need people to prove that we can do it here and give our coaches chances, because we have amazing coaches. Yes, we don't have the best facilities, we don't have Olympic standard facilities, but we have enough to get where we need to be. And I hope that my journey shows that we can do it in South Africa, and we don't need more. We don't need the fancy things to be able to achieve great things, that it's in the heart. And if we can believe and work with what we have, we can achieve amazing things.
Yeah, definitely. Well done. Thank you for staying.
Well, thank you that it worked out.
I'm sure Tux is also very happy. On that, so I mean, the University of Pretoria really has a great scholarship program for sports, and I noticed that you've got a BCom in financial sciences, which is amazing. How did you balance studying and training? And then just why did you do that? Why did you decide on BCom finance?
I think for me personally, I just always knew that unfortunately, with sports, you never know if it's going to really work out or not. And I think, especially knowing in swimming, can you really build a career out of swimming? Because the financial side of it is we have to do it because we love it, not because we're going to get any money out of it. So I think for me to study, firstly, was a nice distraction. It made me not be completely like sucked into swimming and all my thoughts into swimming. It allowed me the space to escape swimming, which I feel I definitely needed. And then secondly was to have kind of a backup plan. Anything could happen. I could walk down the stage and twist my ankle and my career's over in terms of swimming, but knowing that there's still life after swimming, preparing for my life after swimming and having that. So I think I was very grateful because I had that in the side, and after Tokyo, I was able to finally make my sporting dreams a profession, which not a lot of people can say, unfortunately, because we still have to financially rely on our families. But only after Turkey I was able to. So, but I'm very grateful that I did have that, because I always was at peace that no matter if it worked out, if I never achieved anything, that I would always have something to fall back on, and that there is life after swimming. And
I think you have an incredibly level-headed and mature approach to, well, for way back then, to have made those decisions. Well done. No, anyway, so going all the way back to Tokyo, you've just touched on it. You won your first gold, and there it must have been life-changing. So just in terms of like day-to-day stuff, how was there a marked change? Like, I mean, what happened?
yeah, I think I remember Bronwyn. She's one of the Team SA. She does the PR and the media for Team SA. We have a really good relationship, and she said, "Your life is going to change." And I just looked at her and I laughed. I was like, "There's no way." Firstly, no one knows swimming. No one knows who I am, so I don't think that's ever going to happen. And just when I got back and just receiving all the support and like the celebration, I was actually just in shock. I couldn't believe that this was happening. But yeah, it kind of like pushed me in. I'm a very like shy person. I don't like being on stage. I'd rather be behind stage. I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be famous. So having to be pushed into that space was very challenging for me in my personality, because I don't normally get my energy from like being around strangers and like being celebrated. So there was nothing I loved, and I'm so grateful that people show the support and the love and stuff. So it was never about them. It was because my personality type, it was something to get used to. So that was very challenging, because on a day-to-day basis, you get people wanting a bit from you, and it was really challenging for me to put myself out there because I'm a very shy person. But what I've learned out of it, and I mean, now you can see I'm at a much comfortable place to really be relaxed and have a conversation and not think too much about it. It was always like, am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to do the right thing? And now it's pushed me in that, like out of my comfort zone, but it's built character in me. It's built me into the person I am today, where I can comfortably sit and have a conversation and share my story, because at the end of the day, I can only tell the best story of me, so I don't have to feel pressured that I'm going to say the wrong thing, because I can only tell my story. So it really has changed me in that, and like really just shaped my character. Yes, I didn't want to step into that side, but I'm very glad that it has pushed me there, because it's made me a better person. And that's at the end of the day what we take out of the sport, take out of the things that we battle and that we face, is the characteristics that we learn from ourselves, and we kind of impress ourselves every single time we achieve something or we get over that hurdle. So those are the things we take into our lives further on.
Yeah, this is very true. Two people here then that don't like being in the spotlight. Anyway, I'm a behind the scenes person, people. So 2 years ago, I ran into Rocco's Tatjana's coach at Marty's, and you guys were down here for a training camp.
Yes.
And I spent the morning with him there.
Amazing.
And so Rocco heads up the swimming program at the university, and he was instrumental in establishing the whole program there. And we were talking about Tokyo and sort of the squad going forwards, and we talk about these things. And he said he trained you guys so hard, he can't believe that you were actually alive after the training. I was like, oh my God. How did you actually decide to carry on after Tokyo? I was like, what actually made you decide to carry on? I mean, because you kind of like you broken a little bit afterward as well.
Yeah. He says that, but then he doesn't change anything
No,
about it.
I wouldn't.
He needs to listen what he says. But I think the most challenging part coming back from Tokyo is like you have this insane goal that you set yourself out, and that's going to the Olympics. I mean, for me, that's a goal that you think will never be attained, but you're just going to work at it, and if you don't reach it, it's okay, but you just want to put that goal there. So it was something I never thought I would even achieve. Now I achieved it. I got the more ultimate. I got the gold medal, the goal above that, then the world record, and it was just, well, what now? So kind of when I got back, like, what now? I didn't expect to just achieve all that in there, and now it feels like setting new goals means that goal wasn't big enough, and there was so much emotion going on, and I think you realize why there's 4 years in between, because there's a lot to deal with internally, because your whole life you work up to this goal, and then just like that, Olympics is over, and it's like, oh wow.
No, what now?
Yeah, was that it?
Again.
Yeah, now I have to
training.
go back again, and I think just that high of the emotions and stuff. About 2 years ago, I was really, really struggling, and there were really so many times that I've questioned whether I should carry on, whether I should go to Paris. Emotionally, I was exhausted, and you don't pick up those things because there's moments and pockets where you find happiness, but inside I was so sad, and I just didn't want to carry on because I've never seen myself as I have to be double Olympic champion. Like I even told my dad way when I was younger, please don't expect hundreds of Olympics. I'm not going to go to 5. If I go to 1, I'll be very happy. So I already prepared him before, and now it's like now I have to work for another one. And it was really, really challenging. But what I valued most there and what I realized is who you surround yourself with, and having the support system that I had to really rely on the people in my team because they knew my dream. And I think sometimes we can't see our own dreams and we can't see our own, but having those pockets of happiness really builds us and pushes us up and up and up out of the dark hole that we find ourselves in. So I was very grateful for the people in my life. I really leaned on them a lot in the past 3 years, and I think that's what made the moments at Paris so special is they were there in the good and the bad, because the bad was really bad sometimes. And it's always nice when we go to Olympics and I come back with everyone's there with the good, but it's those people that were there during the hard times. And it just showed me that we really need community in life and that it's okay to lean on people. I think even as us athletes, we think we're weak or we need to be strong on our own. But it's really allowing, I think you're less selfish when you allow someone else to help you, because then it says a lot, you're saying that I do actually need help. So I think that was the most important.
I'd like you to give the ladies in the room a rundown of what a training week looked like for you, building up to the Olympics, because I think people don't really appreciate how hard it really is.
Yeah. So from Monday to Friday, we have double sessions, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is double swim sessions. And then Tuesdays, we have gym in the morning and swim in the evening. And then we have our hardest session of the week on a Saturday morning for 2 hours. And then we have from Saturday about 11 o'clock until Sunday night, we have off to recover for the next week. And then we train about 50 out of the 52 years of the week. We get 1 week off in April, and then we get 1 week off after Olympics or World Champs. Yeah, sorry.
It's one long blur.
Yeah.
Might as well be a week.
I think the only thing I can say is obviously it is hectic, but once it becomes consistency, for me, it is still challenging every day to wake up, but somehow, like, because I've been in a consistent pattern for 12 years, it is like pitching up, and it's more of the mental side because we can all train equally hard, we can all eat the right thing. But at the end, it became consistency, it became my job. So it's, it was kind
Yeah.
of just the ball was rolling. So I think from a different side, like I, again, look at the corporate world and I'm like, I don't know how you do 5 to 8 or 8 to 5. I will never be able to do that. Where it's just very different. It's obviously more on the physical side, and yeah. And I think you just roll with the punches, I guess.
So you touched on leaning on people and your team, and I think maybe the misconception is at times that an individual sport is lonely. I think there is a lonesome element to it, but I think you do surround and you do create a team for yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about who was on your side, who was your team?
And so with Paris, I had a T-shirt that I wore and that I made for myself with my community on it. And it was just everyone that's been there. And I mean, I definitely missed out on a lot of names because it's impossible to write. But just to give you an example, it would be a name of a barista at a coffee shop, just engaging in that conversation and just having a good conversation and making me feel better on that day made me pitch up at the pool again, made me a better person in the pool. And I loved what they said. There's a swimming documentary that's out now, is that you don't see Olympics as just once every 4 years. It's an everyday thing that you go through. So it's every day that you at the Olympics because you have to be at your base and train at your base. So for me, the community was the most important. And I did it for them and I did it for everyone at home. But I've always had this saying, oh, now I thought of it when you were speaking. When it comes up out.
That's good. Anytime is good.
Oh, wait, yes,
Yes,
I
there
have
we
it.
go. We got it. We got it. It's back.
I don't know why, but anyway, so I always say swimming is an individual sport. Obviously, when I'm on the blocks and I have to dive in and do the race, I'm by myself. But everything leading up to me to get to that blocks is literally team effort. If it wasn't for the swimmers next to the pool, there was no ways I would wake up and go swim by myself. That is the most demotivating thing ever. So I need those people to stand next to me in the pool thinking, oh, I hate being here. But we're here together and you know what, we're going to get the best out of it. And it's all those smaller things. It's team effort that gets you there. It's like the physios all working together, your inner circle. It's a massive sacrifice for everyone in my community because everyone has always known me as Tatjana with swimming. So if we go on holidays, if we ever go, there has to be a pool. Or we can't go on holidays because I have to be swimming. No long weekends, no public holidays. So it became a sacrifice not only for me, but my whole family and whole support system had to buy into this and buy into this dream. And whether it worked out or not, I think they would have been equally proud because at the end of the day, not everyone's gonna win a gold medal. But it is just buying into that and just living the dream. And it ends up not being, the word sacrifice is not what it is because I get to do what I love every day, chasing my dreams and people believing with me in this dream, which makes it so special. So then it's all worth the sacrifice.
Kind of sounds. It kind of sounds like running a startup. I think there are quite a few founders here that can relate to never going on holiday or, all of that. So, okay, so I want to know comparison between Paris Olympics and Tokyo.
Yeah,
Chalk and cheese, because it was COVID and all of that.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so special. Is I think we had a very unique experience with COVID. Obviously, we wish that it never happened, but no one will ever experience an Olympic Games in that situation. So it was a very, very unique situation. It had its positives because after the race, there was this massive screen that I think there were 5 links that could link in to the screen, and I could speak to anyone at home on these 5 links directly after my race. And where in person, it's only those that can afford to get there and be in the stands that you can celebrate with in that moment. So COVID was actually quite special because I got to celebrate it with everyone at home. I had my swimming team, I had my parents and my family on the one. I had Bronwyn's husband and her son, I had our family friends. So I think that's what made it special, is that in that moment we could celebrate it all together. But then obviously in Paris, having them in person is 10 times better. But the only problem is it kind of distracts you from the swimming, because they're out there having fun and you're just like, I just want to join them. Can the swimming just get over? So having to bring your mind back and like refocusing and knowing that you're there for swimming and we'll holiday later was challenging, but they both had their unique things.
So we always see the more serious competition side of things. Do you have any funny stories that you can share with us?
Yeah, I was
Relatable.
thinking of this one. So it was actually funny with our wedding coming. Joel had to go and ask Rocco, my coach, for permission to
To get married.
to get engaged. And it was actually funny because when we got engaged, the first question I asked him, what did Rocco say? And he's like, and your parents? I was like, no, it's okay. Rocco, and even my parents, the first thing they said, have you spoken to Rocco yet?
Wow.
Yeah. So Rocco's always been there. And then there was this one time, well, building up after we got married and stuff, we thought, I love playing April Fool's jokes on Rocco. So I thought, what better way to play an April Fool's joke than tell him I'm pregnant before the Olympics? I ended up not doing it. I think he would have had a heart attack. And when I told him I wanted to do it, he said thank you that I didn't. I could see that time close to April Fool's, he was under a lot of pressure. So I was like, I can't do this to him. He'll really get a heart attack. But
blood pressure is high, man.
Yeah.
He would have died. Okay, so looking back now, everything is done and dusted, and it's behind you. Is there anything you would have done differently?
No, I don't think so.
Good. Love it. You touched on it just now when you said, very briefly touched on funding, but could you, we'll get to that now, sorry, I've got another. Could you give us some insight into what it is like being a woman in sport, and then what your greatest challenges were?
Yeah. I love this question because obviously there's so much to say, and I have so much lived experience in this. And of course, we can all say as women, when we do achieve these ultimate things, there's just something in us that's like, we knew we could and we showed you we could, because we always feel like we look down upon and that our achievements aren't. And yeah, I think for me personally, my experience has been, unfortunately, we have been seen as like our achievements are lesser than. I don't want to be like blown up and stuff at all, because I just don't like being in the spotlight. But sometimes even coming back from Olympics or World Champs, I never feel like my achievements are that big, because the support we see for the men's sports and the support we see for women makes it feel like what we've achieved is way less, when actually it's kind of the same or equal. Well,
better.
no, it is equal. And now for the Olympics, better. So internally, it's just like it's an amazing feeling to know that we could prove them wrong. And yeah, kind of just knowing that what they've thought of us is completely wrong, because we can do better. So I definitely think there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen in women's in sports, and just the support, because I've experienced it all, and I'm not sitting here complaining and being a victim. If I took on the victim mentality, I don't think I would have ever achieved what I did, because I had to face that and put it aside. But I think what I value most and what I see out of it, and that I'm very thankful for my dad, is he never made me feel that I was almost like I hate it when a guy goes easy on me. I really, really like when we play a tennis match, don't go easy on me. If I lose, it's fine. I can take it, but I don't want to win when you didn't try. And I think a lot of times it's just the way we have been brought up, and the way the world thinks, unfortunately, at the moment, is that we must go easier on the women. And I think I've hopefully proved that you don't have to go easy on me, because we can achieve great things and we can achieve better sometimes. But you're limiting us to our opportunity when you go easy on us. You're limiting us to the best version of ourselves if you go easy on us. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot more conversation to be had. You're showing me this, but I was just having a conversation with him, saying, actually, I've thought about it, but I love swimming in the guys' lane. So I'm always the only girl in the guys' lane, because obviously it challenges you, and I definitely know they foster. They have, and fortunately, genetically, they are
Yeah.
faster than us. So I don't think we're saying that we are better. It's just we want to reach the full potential of what we can as women as well. And just in that, like, I try and train with the guys. But I've noticed, like, even when a new, it's like, guy comes to the swimming squad, he immediately, like, leads the lane. And then I'm like, but you have no idea how I train or how fast I am in training. So how do you know that you're faster than me, that you should lead the lane? So then you kind of have to prove yourself again. I'll swim myself purple to swim on your feet, just to make sure that you can, like, equally give me a chance that I can also, I don't mind leading and you touching my feet and I can clearly see, okay, you're way faster, you can go. But just having to do that, so I loved that in my squad, and I loved, like, swimming myself. I would ruin my whole sets just to prove that I can also lead this lane. But yeah, just I think there is a lot, and it's not anyone's fault, but I think it's the way we started thinking, and even us as women have taken in that we are not as great, we are not as good. We have to step down, let them take over. And it's not about who's controlling who and who has the power. We just want to be equal and be treated the same. And we want to reach our best. We want to reach our best version of ourselves, but we can't do it if we always look down upon, and we can't do it when we're not celebrated the same as men. Because how am I going to encourage a girl to believe in her dreams, go for a sport and, like, give everything in sport, when she has to now think, like, is she financially going to be supported? If she doesn't make it, like, then she's put in 22 years and it didn't work out. And that's the hard thing, is because now you're witnessing some people putting those years, they never reach the top, and then they have nothing, no support, nothing to help them in the next journey. Or
Yeah. So, I mean, the funding thing, general consensus is if it's involves a ball, so rugby, cricket, soccer,
exactly.
there's loads of sponsors. I mean, they've got good structures in schools. Just the whole setup is so much better. So, to what extent do you have to perform to secure sponsors?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I had to become a gold medalist,
Yep.
world record holder for anyone to join my team. So you kind of have to prove yourself, and then some still don't want to join the team and still don't think you're worthy enough. Or even when you are on the teams, you have to prove yourself the whole time. So it is challenging because, again, in your own sports, in my swimming, like, that's the highest thing you could ever achieve in swimming, is winning gold and a world record. And it just never felt like that. And I think that's why I'm always, not that I think if I knew how much it was and I was celebrated more, that I would be super arrogant. My achievements are not through my own strength, and they only through what God has blessed me with. And I'm very fortunate to be able now to have the platform, but I cannot sit back anymore and allow that to happen to the next. I think it would be selfish from me, to what I've experienced, to not want to do something towards it. I'm not going to be the only one to do something, and I'm not going to change the world, but I'm hoping to at least plant a seed or do something, a small step, because it allows the next woman to be one step ahead, and eventually growing. Because
Got a lot of support here.
yeah, I think it's just we can't just rely on one person to carry and run the race for us. It's going to be a group effort, and whoever's willing to run this race with me, I'm happy to do it. But that's the idea: is if I can at least leave and retire one day out of whatever. I'm retired out of swimming, and that's why I can now finally speak up a bit on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just doing that one step at a time to eventually reach where we want to be.
So, and I tried to find this article a few years ago, or it might have been a year ago. I read an article about funding for the Olympic teams in the UK versus funding for the Olympic team in South Africa.
Yeah.
And by sporting code, I mean, it was triple what, say, for instance, swimming in the UK got versus what the entire Olympic team in South Africa got. Okay, and that's SASCOC funds the small team that we have now versus what they do in the UK and what one team gets there. So it's grossly underfunded. And, it just sort of highlights what you've achieved so much more. So well done for kind of getting through all of that. So I know we're out of time here. Advice for your 13-year-old self?
I think, again, to not compare yourself. I think a lot of the times you find yourself in a position where you're comparing yourself to another person, their journey, but to stick to your journey and know that it will all work out. You can only be the best version of yourself. And I only heard this quote later, but a copy is never as good as the original. So you'll never reach the full potential if you're not just yourself. And you might never reach the same, but that's okay, because to be the best version of yourself is the ultimate thing we want to achieve.
That's beautiful. Okay. Where do you see yourself in a year from now? That's such a shit question, sorry.
No.
Because you've just stopped, and like all these things are happening and there's so many opportunities and, but just curious, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, anything like something small, just hiking up a mountain, a lot of the things I couldn't do in swimming, and it's the small little things like eating at a different time than 1 o'clock and eating like anything I want to not. So it's the small little things. So this year, I'm really just going to embrace like just living life without swimming.
Good. Okay, last round of questions. So, Kim or Kanye?
No, Kim. Woman.
Netflix and chill or a night out on the town?
I like a Netflix and chill.
Early bird or night owl?
Actually, both, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure food?
Anything sweet, to be honest.
Favorite board game?
Oh, that's hard. I'm a board games person. So I would say at the moment, Mexican Train.
Okay. It's one to buy people?
Yeah. It's a nice family game. So.
Favorite country that you've traveled to?
Oh, it's hard because unfortunately with swimming, you never get to experience the places. So I've traveled to many places, which has been a blessing. But I would love to go back and experience it as a tourist. So I think Paris would be the one because I actually got to experience a bit outside of the Olympics.
And then last one, did you have any superstitions before a race?
I did when I was younger. I used to swing my arm, and if I did this arm 5 times and this one 3 before my race, quickly 2 more. Then I start swimming sideways. It was so silly, but I had to, every arm and leg had to be swung the same amount of times.
Tatjana, thank you
so
so much.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate your time with us. Ladies, can we give her a huge round of applause?